They said the town was buried in snow and silence, but silence doesn't leave claw marks on steel. I thought I was just here to record folklore, but some stories aren't meant to be studied. They're meant to survive. Hollow Valley wasn't always a ghost town. Once it thrived on silver pulled from the earth until the mine collapsed during the red eclipse of 1897. Everyone thought it was just a tragic accident. But when the snow thawed, they found the bodies, ripped open, clawed from the inside. Something got out. The valley was sealed, the legends buried, until now. I came here with a notebook and an audio recorder. I was supposed to collect whispers. I didn't expect the wind to whisper back. This is the tale of the Hollow Howl Pact, a werewolf transformation story born from grief and hunger, a forgotten supernatural survival curse hidden behind folklore. And it's happening again, because I'm not the first to come back, and I won't be the last. The sun hasn't broken through these clouds in days. Snow falls in slow spirals, silent as ash. The trees lean inward like they're listening. The cabins, what's left of them, creak even when there's no wind. The mine entrance yawns open like a mouth, frost-bitten and wet. The ground is frozen, but something underneath it is breathing. I arrived at dusk, my boots crunched on untouched snow except the footprints that vanished mid-stride. I thought it was wind erosion. I thought a lot of things back then. Calm, observational, slowly unraveling, like peeling back something long forgotten, not realizing the thing inside is still alive. If you're still listening, leave your name in the snow. Like, share, subscribe, before the blood moon rises again, because when it does and the pact awakens, they always say ghosts don't leave tracks, but something out here does. And it's not just dragging itself through the snow, it's hunting. By the second night, my hands were shaking too much to hold the recorder. Not from cold, from something else. The kind of pressure you feel when the woods go silent, not even a crow dares cry. I stayed in the old ranger outpost, one room, one wood stove, and a single window that faced the mine. At 2:17 a.m., I heard the knock, not a tap, not a branch, a deliberate knock, 3 times. No footprints in the snow. Nothing outside but darkness and steam curling up from the mine shaft like breath. I found the first claw marks the next morning on the inside of the outpost door. Long, jagged grooves too wide for any known predator. 4 slashes and a thumb. Something with hands. Inside the mine there were bones. Not ancient, fresh. Some still had sinew, others were gnawed clean. Symbols had been carved into the support beams. Circular, crescent-shaped, lunar. The Wendigo whispers came next. A voice, rasping, hunger without end, mimicking my own thoughts in the dark. But that wasn't the only thing watching. That's when Elijah appeared. An old man in a coat too big for him. Beard frozen in icicles, eyes like burned-out stars. He said he was the last one left, the last survivor from the last time the eclipse came. "You smell like them both," he said before vanishing into the trees. That night I dreamed of wolves. Not hunting, but hunted. Torn apart by something thinner, taller, hungrier. I woke up with dirt under my fingernails and a crescent carved into my chest, and the full moon hasn't even risen yet. No one warned me that you can feel your blood remembering, not in words, in hunger. It started with a scream, sharp, abrupt, cut off mid-breath. I found the body half buried in snow by the mine's edge. A hiker, a hunter, doesn't matter. His eyes were gone, lips torn off, chest hollowed. But what made me drop to my knees was the expression, frozen in terror and recognition. In his hand was a note. The pact calls its blood back. Later, washing my hands in the cabin basin, I caught a flicker in the mirror. My eyes, golden, feral. My face cracked at the edges like something underneath was trying to break through. My jaw ached. I dropped the mirror and screamed. But it wasn't my voice I heard. It was a growl, from inside me. The deeper I went, into Elijah's old journals, the more the stories blurred into something ancient. The Wendigo wasn't born. It was summoned during the famine of 1796, when a shaman broke the last taboo and consumed his own kin. The forest cursed him. To contain the spirit's hunger, the wolves were made, and who could shift at will, guardians of the balance. But when the mine collapsed during a full moon, that balance shattered. The Hollow Howl Pact was forged in blood. Every century, one from each bloodline awakens. One must consume the other, or both perish. At night, my fingers twitch in my sleep, elongating and snapping back. My hearing sharpens. I smell the rot beneath the cabin floor. I hear the Wendigo moving underground. And worst of all, I feel the wolf beneath my skin, waiting. I am both and neither. Elijah returns, gaunt and desperate. You don't get to choose what you become, but you do choose what you feed. He shows me his arm, gnawed to the bone. He tried to end it a century ago, failed. If you don't kill it before the eclipse, you'll become the next curse. May in the mirror, one eye glowing amber, the other tearing with human fear. A Wendigo crawling along the walls of the mine, silent as mist frost-bitten symbols burning red on the trees. As the blood moon nears, that night I dig up a sealed wooden box buried beneath the hearth. Inside, a wolf fang, a Wendigo claw, and a sealed envelope marked, "To the one who carries both." My hands won't stop shaking. The envelope is pulsing. I thought I was here to document death, but I was born to deliver it. Inside the sealed envelope was brittle parchment, written in a trembling hand. You are the breach. You are the balance. If you kill the beast, the wolf will rule. If you slay the wolf, the hunger will spread. If you do nothing, the curse returns stronger. A second line, carved into the paper with something sharp. Or feed yourself to the earth and end them both. And beneath it, a sketch. My face, half fur, half bone. I'm not just from one line. I am both. My great-grandfather was the shaman's last descendant. My grandmother, one of the cursed miner's blood. My body is tearing itself apart. Every night something new breaks, shifts, howls. My spine cracked at dawn. My tongue no longer feels like mine. My dreams are no longer dreams, they're memories of the hunger and the hunt. I wasn't here by accident. I was summoned by the eclipse. Elijah refuses to help. You're not meant to survive this. You're meant to end it. I scream at him. He only weeps. The Wendigo is growing bolder. I see it standing beneath the trees at night. Long, emaciated, bone-white, antlers like cracked ribs. It mimics my voice now. Let it go, May. You were never human. A torn journal entry reads, if you've made it this far, you've heard it too, haven't you? The howling. The whispers in your dreams. Don't keep this to yourself. Like, share. Pass it on before it spreads to you. May staring at her hands mid-transformation, fingers bending backward unnaturally. A Wendigo mimic standing behind her, whispering in her own voice. Full blood moon framed by the antlers of a silhouette on a ridge. The moon is beginning to bleed. I feel both beasts inside me, fighting. But the worst part, I don't know which one I want to win. The blood moon is rising now, and I'm not sure if I want to stop what's coming or become it. My skin won't hold. Beneath it, fur bristles and recedes like waves. My bones snap in brief pulses of agony and lock again. One eye is golden, the other milky white like the Wendigo's. I tried to leave the valley, but the road was gone, swallowed in snow, erased by claw tracks that spiraled back toward the mine. I'm being herded, not just by the Wendigo, by the wolf, by me. I screamed until my throat split, not from pain, but because I heard my own voice echo from the forest. And it wasn't mine anymore. It said, she knows now. She remembers the pact. Let her run. She'll come back. They always come back. I threw Elijah's journal into the fire. It wouldn't burn. The pages just turned on their own, one by one. All of them blank except the last. A drawing of me in beast form, kneeling, head tilted skyward, and next to it written in blood. The only way out is to finish the hunt. That night, the Wendigo showed itself. It didn't lunge. It knelt before me, as if I were its queen, its kin. The hunger stopped, just for a moment. Then it whispered, you felt it. The hunger, the howl. The pact is not a curse, child. It is a throne. I fled, into the mines. where I found the bones of the others who tried to end it. Wolves, wendigos, hybrid horrors, half-formed creatures with twisted spines and hollow skulls, stuck mid-transformation, frozen in agony. Some of them were still breathing. The moon is directly above me now. I can feel the pull. Tomorrow night is the eclipse, and I don't know if I'll survive it or awaken something older. The moon is bleeding, and so am I. The sky burns crimson. The eclipse has begun. The valley shakes with howls, some high-pitched like children screaming, others deep and guttural, barely animal. I descended into the mines alone. Elijah is gone. I found his coat by the fire, and what was left of his jawbone. The final chamber waits at the bottom, circular, walls carved with claw marks, bones scattered like sand, and in the center, the packed stone. A slab etched with both wolf and wendigo, symbols fused together, blood drips from the ceiling. Mine, it begins. My spine shatters upward. Fur bursts from my arms like fire through paper. My face, oh God. My face stretches, cracks, peels. My mouth tears into a snout. But it's not just the wolf. My ribs expand like broken wings. Antlers sprout from my skull, wet and pulsing. My limbs twist in two directions at once, one toward predator, one toward parasite. I am becoming both. I am becoming what they feared. The wendigo steps from the shadows, elegant in its hunger, skeletal in its reverence. You are what we prayed for, a vessel of balance, a god of blood. I leap at it, claws meeting claws, fangs crashing against bone. We fight like spirits bound by gravity, slamming into mine walls, tearing through memory. Every time it bites, I remember something from another life, another death, another version of me who failed. I pin the wendigo against the packstone. It doesn't resist. It smiles. End it, child. Kill the hunger and or become it. I raise my clawed hand. The beast inside roars. The human inside weeps. But instead of killing it, I plunge my claws into my own chest. I bleed into the packed stone. The stone erupts with light, red, gold, white. The light fades. I am alone. The wendigo is gone. The wolf is quiet. I look down at my hands, human again. But the claw marks remain. The pact is fulfilled, or is it sleeping? Above me, the eclipse passes, and in its fading glow, I hear a howl. Not mine. Not his something new. I came here searching for a story. What I found is still inside me. Days have passed, or maybe weeks. Time doesn't move the same in Hollow Valley anymore. The mine has collapsed again, sealing the packed stone below. But the land still remembers. The claw marks on the trees have not faded. The wind still carries whispers. And every night just before sleep I feel a twitch in my jaw, a stretch in my fingers, a memory in my bones that isn't mine. I buried Elijah under the oldest pine. His journal is gone, burned into ash when the pact fulfilled itself. But something tells me this was never about stopping the curse. It was about resetting it. I'm free, for now. But freedom is not peace. I hear wolves when there are none, the antlers in my dreams, and when I look in the mirror, I still don't know whose eyes are looking back. The last page of the pact journal was still blank. So I wrote this, for you. If you're still here, if you heard the howls, if you felt the pull, leave your name in the comments. Like, share, whisper it to someone who dreams of forests. Because the Hollow Howl Pact doesn't end when the moon fades. It ends when you choose what beast you'll become. Maybe the curse is broken. Maybe I was just another chapter in something older than language. But if you're still listening, then the Hollow Valley still has teeth. Come back before the next blood, moon or don't. But if you hear a howl in your sleep, run, or worse, answer it. And for those who hunger for more, step deeper into the shadows with our Ultimate Werewolf Horror playlist, linked in the description below. In the world of horror, the scariest things happen when you least expect them. And trust me, you don't want to be left in the dark. Welcome to the darkness.